This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so Azure DevOps, right? Uh, this is a SaaS version of your in Azure Cloud. Azure DevOps is one of the features, right? Okay. So as discussed, it's a comprehensive course. You get everything what is required for your day-to-day DevOps implementation for any given. Okay. Okay. For anything, you need to know the fundamentals or the basics. If you don't have the proper foundation, obviously you will not excel in that one. Be it a programming language, be it scripting, be it database, whatever you learn, right? You need to have the fundamentals. Okay. Why, what, how. I mean, if you know all these three, then definitely you can do whatever you want rather than struggling. Okay. So having said that, Azure DevOps is a part of your Azure cloud, right? That's the reason you also need to know about its parent. So Azure Cloud is parent of Azure DevOps. So you need to know about Azure Cloud. So what exactly it is, I mean, who are the different people that work on Azure Cloud? So here, when I say different people, the roles basically. So you might have heard, right? Azure Cloud Administrator, Azure Cloud Developer, Azure DevOps Engineer, Azure Cloud Architect. These are the different roles that you hear every day, or you might see from job alerts, right? From Naukri or Monster or whatever it is in whatever the country you are from. Okay, so you need to know about them so that you can prepare yourself towards your goal. Okay, so let's look into the Azure Cloud fundamentals first. So any cloud environment, be it Azure, AWS, or GCP, any cloud, right? They come, I mean, they're divided as three parts. One is a infrastructure as service, and another one is a platform as a service, software as a service. Okay. So when I log into any cloud environment, sorry, when I log into any cloud environment portal, right? So you will have the administration portal. You will log into that one. So with your company's email ID or your personal email ID. So you need to have the subscription first, okay? Because these are paid ones. Okay. Of course, every cloud provider will also give you a free trial as well. So coming to the Azure cloud, this guy will give you a 1 month free trial. Okay. Uh, and they will give you 13,000 rupees as a credit. Means within that 13,000 rupees credit, you can practice. Okay. So I will explain you how we need to manage that 13,000 rupees free credit in your account to learn Azure DevOps, even Azure Cloud as well. Because while I'm talking about Azure DevOps, I also talk about many of the features of Azure Cloud as well, other than DevOps. Okay. So what is infrastructure as a service? Okay. If I go back to a decade back, right? So everything is a physical environment. So you have the servers in your data center. If you don't know data center is a place where you keep the servers and that has a cooling like air conditioning and people like server administrators, network administrators, okay, and then security people. All they work together to keep running the data center because it needs a networking, it needs a AC, it needs power, okay, it needs a technical guys as well. So So, I mean, so if you are running a data center and you are running servers from from your own data center or rented data center, what happens whenever you need to buy another server and keep the server in data center, it takes months and months because you need to buy, someone needs to ship it to your address. You need to call all different people, network, server, security, labor to keep the server inside and do the cabling installation, etc. It takes months and months, okay, and that is expensive as well. It may be minimum 10 lakhs, I mean, at a high level for a minimum configuration. So okay, so people cannot afford that time. That's where these cloud providers came into picture. Hey, you don't need to buy, I'm providing infrastructure as a service feature from my cloud environment. If you want a server, you can go and create a server in my cloud within minutes. Okay, so now you understand giving access to the infrastructure resources like virtual machines. Okay, when you have a machine or when you have a server, obviously you have the networking concept, networking and the storage and other peripherals as well. So these guys simply give you access to that portal by paid subscription, and you can go and create your virtual machine. So if it is a physical server, that is from the physical data center. If it is a virtual machine, that is from the cloud environment. Okay. So obviously in the cloud, you will do it in a fraction of minutes, right? So this is called like infrastructure as a service. What is a platform as a service? Okay, platform as a service means I'll take some examples like big data, right? So which is the Hadoop environment. Okay, so to have the Hadoop, basically again people have to have the server. On top of the server, they install the Hadoop and any other prerequisite softwares, and they have to configure as well because Hadoop is a cluster, means they will have one master server and there will be a number of slave servers running. I mean, people call it as a nodes. Node is nothing but a server. So there will be number of slave servers and master server. So they have to configure, attach each and every server from networking. So it takes a hell lot of time again. Okay, it takes months and months to set up that environment. Okay, it's not just a hardware, it's a configuration of the Hadoop software and other peripheral softwares as well. Okay, it takes time, right? That's where again these cloud providers extended their services. Hey, I'm not only going to give you infrastructure as a service, I'm going to have another service called platform as a service. That means if you want to have some big data environment or a IoT environment which contains number of servers and softwares installed on it, so that the developers can go and develop their features, and they can deploy the features into the production environment or UAT or dev, whatever it is. That complete environment is called as a platform as a service. Okay, and then software as a service. This is another feature. This, so under this category, there will be number of other things available. Let us say someone wants to use face recognition services, which comes under AIML, right? For fraud detection, etc. Or somebody wants to uh, connect to your Azure DevOps and read data. They will give you API. Okay, and uh, and you take Azure DevOps as well. You have the platform ready. Okay, you don't need to worry about underlying infrastructure. You don't need to worry about its maintenance. All you need is just go and start using that Azure DevOps service for doing your CI/CD pipelines or any other DevOps features. This is called as a software as a service. Guys, now did you get the difference between all these three that comes under any cloud environment?
Yes, Purna.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, now let's get into other ones. Okay, so these are the features offered by cloud, right? And but there are different types of cloud as well: public cloud, private cloud, and then hybrid cloud. Okay, public cloud. So the examples are your Azure, AWS, GCP. These are the public cloud and Alibaba cloud. Okay, these are the public cloud provider. That means these are available over internet, and you can subscribe to that service so that you can go and use all the above three features wherever it is applicable for you. So that is a public cloud, and the bill will be generated as per your usage. Second one is a private cloud. This is the first cloud option basically. That means this is built basically on VMware mostly. So VMware is a software, hypervisor software, where people install on their physical servers, and create a virtual machines using VMware, and those virtual machines will be used by the developers or testers, whoever it is. Okay? And using VMware, you cannot, it doesn't have a portal like, where you can monetize your servers. Monetize means you cannot sell the servers to the outside people. It doesn't have any billing systems. It doesn't have any, a subscription mechanisms, etc. So that's called a private cloud. What is hybrid cloud? So in real world, the applications are application components are running from both the private cloud, public cloud, or the physical servers. When you are using combination of all these different cloud mechanisms, we call it as a hybrid cloud. Okay. So
One quick doubt here. So all
okay.
these be accessed from anywhere or within the any infrastructure?
Okay. If it is a public cloud, okay, you can access directly from the portal as well. Portal.azure.com. It is Azure. If it is AWS, you will have a AWS management console. You will manage from there. Okay. And if it is a private cloud, as I told you, it doesn't have the administration portal like what you see for Azure or AWS. This private cloud, basically, mostly it is a VMware software. So it has a desktop version where you need to log into some machine and start managing your cloud environment, which is a private cloud. And at the same time, if you want to sell it to some other organization or some other person, like sell means your virtual machine or whatever it is for their usage, you cannot do it because it doesn't have any billing mechanism or any invoice mechanism. Okay, you need that one, right, for selling your services. Billing, you need again, your regulatory stuff, and then compliance. There are many things that you need when you're selling some services, income tax, etc. Okay, that's a VMware. Let us say from my laptop I can also create my one virtual machine, because my laptop is having a hypervisor feature. I can go and enable hypervisor, and I can create a virtual machine inside my laptop as well. And for that sake, you have a Dell laptop. Dell laptop, there are some models where you can go and create a virtual machine inside your laptop. So virtual machine is nothing but uh, basically having some software on your laptop, on your server, on any machine, which can partition your physical machine into virtual machines, means virtual partitions. So it's not one server. Once you log in, you will have multiple servers so that you can mimic the cloud environment.
Then
So
how will it be connected to the cloud?
see, if you are not part of any domain, right? Let us say my laptop. This is my personal laptop. Okay, this is not part of any domain. Means Azure, Active Directory, or it doesn't have any networking stuff. It simply connected to my Wi-Fi. Okay, laptop cannot be made available over internet, or you cannot, if you are running some website from your laptop, you cannot make it available to the internet. The reason, it is not part of any domain. Okay, that's a networking concept. Okay, so you need to provide domain, and you need to have some public IP address for your laptop or for your for your server. That public IP address will only be available to the internet. If I take whatever I get for my laptop or your laptop in your company, they are not public IP addresses. They are the private IP addresses generated by a DHCP, a mechanism called DHCP in your networking stuff. Okay, and there are some people like testers or developers, they need a IP which should not change every day. If you restart your laptop, your IP address will change. For some reasons, they need a static IP address, means that will not change. So what happens, you cannot take it your own, right? You basically make a request to the infrastructure team. They will create one IP address from the pool. There is a networking mechanism again. They will assign that IP address to your machine. That's how the networking concepts work basically. If you have a public IP address and the ports are opened from your port, means the way you access to the server, like if it is a web applications, it basically port 80, like HTTP or HTTPS, means 80 or 443. For each and every database server, they have their own ports to be opened. Otherwise, they cannot be accessible from other machine. Those are the that's how you make your services or servers available to the other people or other applications. Okay, so when you are doing the practice, right, you will also come to know all these things, because when I create a virtual machine, I basically touch all these things because I have to. There is no other option for me. What I do, I generally create these machines in front of you, or services in front of you, so that while you are practicing, it will help you. If I do it, I mean, before the session, you will not know that one, but I do it in the session itself. Okay, so that's about different types of features that are provided by cloud service providers like Azure, AWS, etc. Okay, and different types of cloud available. Okay, we are dealing with the public cloud, means Azure cloud.
Hello.
Yep.
Salesforce comes under which cloud?
SaaS. That is a SaaS platform. They are not running from any of the cloud providers like AWS or Azure. They have their own data centers where, basically they have their own data center and they run their application from their data center. Okay. And it is a software as a service. Basically, you subscribe. The way you are subscribing to your Azure cloud or AWS cloud, in the same way you have to subscribe to Salesforce. That is user-based license. Okay, for each user they charge. Okay. Okay. So what are the different roles that are available in cloud area? So I created this slide to help the people. Many people don't know what they have to learn in the cloud area. That's the reason I'm just trying to clear that stuff as well. The first thing that you hear is Azure Cloud Administrator. So what they do? Cloud infrastructure management. We just talked about, right? Like platform as a service, infra as a service, software as a service. Okay. These Azure Cloud Administrator, they basically create the infrastructure inside your cloud environment, like Azure Cloud. They are the administrators. They will have full access to the cloud. They can go and they can go and create the services. Here the service are resource nothing but your virtual machines, storage, or any other platform as a service. Let us say, okay, we'll explain that. Let's come here. Azure Cloud Developer. What this guy do? He basically develops the features for the requirements given by the business people, right? You need to solve some business issues, right? Those are the requirements. Those requirements will be developed by Azure Cloud Developer using .NET, Java, any other programming language, but they deploy their code into the Azure cloud environment, into the virtual machines or into the app service. There are many concepts. Mostly it is virtual machines, and or sometimes it will be app service where you don't need a virtual machine to run your application. Now, with respect to these two roles, right? The Azure cloud developer, they need resources to start working on the development. Okay, they need the servers to deploy their code, and they need access to the servers. They need, let us say, if they want to use any email components, or they need to use any big data related, IoT related platform as a service. They need them. They need access to them. Okay, and probably these guys, like developers, don't have a administration privilege because they can delete or they can give access to the some people. Okay, these guys need it. Who will create all that stuff? The Azure Cloud Administrator. So the cloud developer comes and says, hey, I need to deploy my application to Windows Server 2016, and it should have a 16 GB RAM and 1 terabyte of storage, etc. Of course, it will go to the manager, and that guy will create a request to get that one. But ultimately, who is creating that one? Azure Cloud Administrator. This guy is the person who gives access and create the resources, give it to the developers. Okay, or any other role. It can be a project manager, it can be a tester, but this guy will provide access. The other one, what you have is a Azure DevOps engineer. Okay, under Azure Cloud Developer, again you have a variety of flavors here. Okay, not everyone works on each and every feature of Azure Cloud. Because in Azure Cloud, you have a IoT stack, you have the big data stack, you have a analytics like a AI ML. Okay, likewise, you have a number of stacks are available in your Azure DevOps. Okay, the database guy probably work on big data work like Azure Big Data Lake, etc. They call them as a Azure Big Data Developer. If the person is simply deploying .NET or Java applications into virtual machines or app services that are available in the cloud, we call them as a Azure Cloud Developer simply. And if the person is working on IoT development, they will be called as Azure Cloud IoT Developer. Like that, the roles will be defined. Okay. And then Azure DevOps Engineer. So the cloud administrator creates the infrastructure and the developer uses them, and Azure DevOps Engineer moves the code that is developed by developer. Moves means CI/CD. This guy creates a CI/CD pipelines, and this guy creates repositories. Okay, under Azure DevOps platform. And whatever is, let us say, this developer creates, develop some .NET code. He will take that code into the Azure DevOps platform, and he will deploy that code to the different virtual machines by configuring workflows like automated release management, and he take the test cases from the automation testers. He will integrate. So blah blah blah, right? So whatever we talked about as part of our course content. Okay. Cloud administrator creates the infrastructure. Azure Cloud Developer, he develops the features, code for the requirements, and Azure DevOps Engineer, he is responsible for deploying or maintaining the code developed by the Azure Cloud Developer, or the .NET developer, or the Java developer, if they are using this or any other server. So that's what I say, automated SDLC activities. Apart from this, he will also have another role that is called cloud architect. Okay, there are two types of cloud architects again: Azure Cloud Architect Infrastructure, Azure Cloud Architect Development. Okay, Azure Cloud Architect Infrastructure means he is responsible for designing of the infrastructure on the cloud. That means he will decide what kind of virtual machines to be used, and what configuration, what security controls to be placed in the networking. Like you call it as a virtual network in so everything you add a V. Let us say it is a machine in your data center, you call it as a virtual machine here. It is a network in your data center, you call it here as a virtual network. Okay, like that. So everything will be having a B in front of it. Okay, virtual. So this guy, Azure Cloud Infra Architect, he designs the infrastructure. Okay, how many firewalls are required, how many load balancers required, and in which network, virtual network, we need to have the front end servers, in which virtual network we need to have the API servers or the database servers, and where we need to keep the firewalls, load balancers. So this is the responsibility of the Azure Cloud Architect. Of course, he needs to work with the Azure Cloud Architect development, because that cloud architect development, he only knows what servers to be used. So he will tell the Azure Cloud Architect, and he will devise the infrastructure architecture. Once the architecture and design in place, the Azure Cloud Administrator will come into place and create all those resources in the cloud and give access to the developers and DevOps engineers and whoever is requiring access to that one. Got it now about the roles that are available in cloud?
Yes, Purna, it's better.
Okay.
I'm able to understand.
Okay, thank you. So that's what I'm just overlapping this one. Okay. Now you know different types of services offered by cloud and different types of cloud and the different types of roles available in cloud environment. Those roles are applicable to any other cloud environment as well. Okay, those are just roles. Okay. What are all the things that you can do in Azure Cloud as an administrator, as a developer, or as an architect? Okay, or a DevOps engineer, right? So you can create a virtual machines, and you can create a virtual machine scale sets that is nothing but a group of servers which can be, let us say, I can create a scale set which contains 2 virtual machines. It is nothing but a pool, and the number of machines can be increased or decreased by depending on my load of the server. So those are some rules that you can see basically. Okay, and who does this? The cloud administrators. Okay, and app service functions. App service is nothing but this basically run your applications. Basically, there are things like this. You can run your web applications or anything from server. Okay, for that you need to have a virtual machine and deploy your code there. But if you don't have to, if you don't want to have servers, you directly want to run your applications inside some environment. That is where your app service functions comes into picture. It is a little bit cheaper than the virtual machine. The reason uh, uh, you will not have any access to the virtual machine, the machines that are running app service. Okay, we'll talk about it whenever the need comes as part of our Azure DevOps labs. Okay, Azure Kubernetes service, basically Kubernetes is from Google, but to set up a Kubernetes in a physical environment, it takes 6-7 months also for many organizations. It's very complex. Okay, so that's the reason all the cloud providers like Amazon or Azure or GCP, which is a Google, they also started giving a cloud version of the Kubernetes as well. You call it as a managed version of Kubernetes. And you call that Kubernetes from Azure as a Azure Kubernetes service. It basically takes a fraction of, it takes about 2-3 minutes to create a Azure Kubernetes cluster in the cloud environment. Whereas it takes months and months if you have to do it in the local environment. So virtual networks, load balancers, we talked about gateway, VPNs. That means, if you are working for any organization, nobody will allow you to connect to the server over the internet, right? Because that is not secure. So basically, the network administrators will create a VPN between Azure cloud and your data center. That means if you are working from your office laptop using VPN or working from your desktop from your office, then only you will be able to access to the servers running from Azure cloud. That's called VPN gateways. Application gateways, that's for the applications. And then you have the storage databases like Azure SQL, Cosmos DB, Big Data, etc. Internet of Things, Azure Data Lake, and finally, this is the feature of Azure Cloud that we will be using, Azure DevOps. Okay. Having said that, let's go and have a quick tour of our Azure Cloud as well. So we spoken a lot about it, right? Let's have a quick. So the website that you have to log in is a portal.azure.com. This is a Azure Cloud Administration portal. Okay, guys, either you have to use your company's email ID to log into the Azure portal, or Hotmail account. You need to have the Hotmail account. Or the current one is outlook.com, whatever it is. You need to have these two types to log into your portal.azure.com, Azure Cloud Administration portal, basically. Okay. If you don't have an account, you have to sign up. This is a regular mechanism. You can sign up. When you sign up, so let us say use another account, right? You don't have an account. Okay, then create a one. Since I already logged in, it is giving me. Let me do. I'm just giving you heads up how you can create your own account. Okay. So it will come here. You can create your Azure free account today. So it will say 12 months, but it will give you only, 12 months, it will manage your labs, whatever you've done. But after 30 days, you will not be having any editable access on the cloud. So this is the portal of what I'm going to show you once I log in. Okay. You can start for free when you're learning. So guys, don't start today itself, because you will not be using the services of services till another 4 or 5 days. Okay, 3-4 days. You need to use your free trial in a wise way. Otherwise, you need to change credit cards for each and every subscription, right? You need to have a credit card available. So if you used it once, that's it. You will not be able to use it another time for a free subscription. Okay, so please use it wisely. So you have to create an account. While you are creating the account, it will ask you for email ID, etc., and the credit card as well. Once that is done, you will come to sign in page. That is portal.azure.com. So this is my account, ashka86@hotmail.com. I use this to log into my portal.azure.com. So I already have an existing subscription. That's if you don't have, it will say sign up for a pay as you go. Pay as you go means, I mean you will pay for what you use basically. I've been using it since long time. That's why free subscription is not available to me. Anyways, I'm running with my own credit card. So what I do? Let me sign out from here. You can sign up like that. Once you sign up, you can go to portal.azure.com and then use your email ID that you used. Already saved it. Okay. I've been using this one, so you see some recently used resources here. Okay, but if you go to the top left menu, this is where you see all the services that are available in your cloud environment, Azure Cloud. Okay, so you have a home, and then you can create the dashboard to see what are the frequently used services. Okay, and it also shows all the menus. I mean, all menus, nothing but the items that you have used. Okay, this is your dashboard. You basically keep whatever you want here, and these are the different resources available. Okay, we'll talk about this resource. Some of these things I'll be covering as part of my DevOps, but not everything, because everything is comes under is coming under your cloud administrator one, which is another comprehensive course. Okay, but you will be knowing mostly. So you can create the app services. I just explained. Function apps is nothing but serverless functions, etc. This is for the databases, and then virtual machines, storage, Active Directory, Azure Active Directory. So which basically people integrate this with your company's Active Directory. So if you don't have Active Directory account, you will not be able to log into your laptop or desktop, right? People create an account in their Active Directory and give you email ID or user account to you. Okay, and the bottom ones are basically related to cost, billing, etc. Not only this one, if you click on all services, right? When you click on all services, you will see a different categories here. You see, compute is nothing but your servers, etc. If you click on this, it will show you all the things that comes under compute. Basically, these are all infrastructure as a service things: virtual machines, Kubernetes, mesh application. This is for microservices. Okay, Citrix related. Okay, days. So there are many things, and people will also, I mean, the vendors like Citrix, SAP, or many other vendors, they also create their own version of compute services, and they make it available here. It is a marketplace for them. Means people can go and utilize here, so that the paid amount will be going to them. Okay, and then networking. You will have your virtual networks, load balancers, and traffic manager. There are many things that comes under your networking. Whatever you see in your data centers where your network administrators are working on, all they are available here as well. Because it is just a virtual, but still it is a machine, right? Whatever we're going to use. Okay, and you can configure your firewall rules. Okay, you configure your ports, etc. Okay, and then storage, this is about where you are going to store your data. Different types of storage is available. Web, so this is where this app services comes into picture. The API management portals where people manage their APIs. Okay, basically if somebody what cloud administrators do, when somebody wants some APIs, app service to be created, like a developer basically they will go and create it. If you hover mouse there, you can see create a app service, and then it is a series of steps. Next. You have to give the name. You have to select some attributes from the drop downs or text boxes, etc. And then finally you will create it, and then you will give access to the respective developer. Okay, everything will be like that. You see everything, you see create, you can see. Okay, and databases, I talked about machine learning, AML, Internet of Things, IoT. Mixed reality is nothing but a AR, VR. Integration means for middleware. Okay, you see service buses, etc. And finally, we also have our platform. So DevOps. Okay, our course is about DevOps, right, which is nothing but Azure DevOps. Okay, we will come here and work on it. Basically, in order for a DevOps engineer to work on the DevOps, the cloud administrator have to give access to you to this Azure DevOps feature. So that will be done by the cloud administrator. Once you do it, so the Azure DevOps engineer either directly come to portal.azure.com, or there is another URL where you can access Azure DevOps. Let us say if you want to come in this traditional way, first log into portal.azure.com, then you will see this DevOps for you, and then there is a menu called Azure DevOps organization. Just use this, then you will land here. Okay, once you land here, so it's all things, right? What is this Azure DevOps? You can click on this My Azure DevOps organizations. So whenever you are using it for the first time, let's click this. It will take you to, it will open in another window. So here you see aex.dev.azure.com, and here you will see now you are seeing many organizations here because I've been using it since quite a time. For the first time, you will see empty. You won't see any of these things. It will be empty. You have to create an organization. Okay, so guys, we will talk about it. What is this organization, etc. tomorrow. But first, let me give you a quick view. Okay. So once you create an organization, you will get menus like this. Options like this. The dev.azure.com is your root URL, and this the after slash what you see is your organization name. Okay. If I do generally what I do, I don't come this in traditional way. Log into portal.azure.com and then go to the DevOps option and then click on the Azure DevOps organization. I don't go in that way. So the other way to access your Azure DevOps is dev.azure.com. This is the URL for your Azure DevOps. Okay, dev.azure.com. Just enter. If you are using it for the first time, of course, when you are coming from the portal.azure.com itself, you will sign up for this service as well. This is a separate sign up, separate subscription again. But the same email ID or the account that you use for portal.azure.com will be used for this one as well. Okay. Anyways, I already have my account. I can say sign into Azure DevOps. And you can have a quick look here. This is what you're going to learn, right? Boards, pipelines, repos, plans, artifacts, and then there will be some plugins available in the marketplace. Plugin is nothing but extension, whatever you call it. Okay, these are the reusable components. We're going to use all these things. Okay. You can have a quick look here as well. What Azure DevOps is offering. Whatever I explained it. So you can sign in to Azure DevOps when you come from dev.azure.com. Again, I use the same email ID that I used for portal.azure.com. Okay. So this is my existing account. Right? That's why you see a lot of projects here. You can see projects, and this is nothing but your organization name. Basically, you do not have organization names like this. If you are working for any company, they basically create organizations like this. Okay, it's basically categorization. So if your company is doing for a DevOps for a particular client, let us say I would say some aviation client, let us say Air India. They basically probably create an organization with name called Air India. That means uh, you will have a number of DevOps engineers, right? For that Air India client. Only engineers, DevOps engineers who work for the Air India will have access to Air India organization. Once they are in under Air India organization, people can go ahead and create the projects for the DevOps. Okay, so I don't want to make it complex or overburden you, but this is where you land here. From here, your Azure DevOps journey starts. Okay, I did not create an organization. Yeah.
These names are unique worldwide.
Sorry, what is that?
These organization names are unique worldwide, or may have
No,
same
no,
names.
these are specific to your subscription. Okay, let us say let us say you are some let us say you are from Google, not the Google. I should not take that one. Let us say you are from Bank of America, a client, right? Or I would say you are from Cognizant, or I would say TCS. So you log into your portal, Azure Cloud portal.azure.com, your company email ID. From there, let us say you are working for TCS, right? You will have a number of clients, right? So let us say Bank of America or Air India or British Airways or pharma companies, whatever it is, right? You have number of clients. They basically create the organization names as per the client. Okay, they do it if they are managing the DevOps for the client. But most of the cases, what happens, the client itself will give you access to the cloud environment. You will log into the portal using the client email ID password. They give you email ID password, right? You will log in, and the client may have a number of divisions inside that client organization, right? Let us say if you take let us say Air India, so they may have the people number of divisions like finance division or no building division or the e-commerce division, like that. Okay, and each and every division will have a different applications, right? So billing, finance department will have applications like billing, ordering, etc. And e-commerce department, they basically have the applications for booking the tickets, etc. So every division will have their own set of applications in place. For that categorization purpose, they basically create an organization. If it is a Air India account, what they do, they create organizations like this: finance, one organization; e-commerce, one organization; and let us say administration, they create one organization, because they need to categorize the applications, okay, and the departments, etc. So here organization is nothing but it is a context. Context based. If you are inside a company, then each and every department may become an organization name. Okay, uh, if you are working for a group of companies, like let us say TCS or Qualcomm, they will have a n number of groups like Accenture. So they have a n number of companies spread across multiple countries, but they all work under the same umbrella. So let us say Accenture India, that is one organization for Accenture. Accenture America, that is one organization for Accenture. So organization is a context-based term, but in Azure DevOps, uh, whatever is the categorization you are using in your company, this is an organization. Under that, let us say I create an e-commerce organization, right? Under that, I'll keep all my applications related to e-commerce department. Then I do the CI/CD pipelines. Means take the code of I'll keep the code of e-commerce applications in my e-commerce organization repositories, and create the pipelines for the e-commerce applications inside e-commerce organization. So you have a clear categorization, and the people know how much is being spent by each organization for their DevOps work, or for their development work, etc. Did you get what basically an organization is now?
Yeah, Purna, I understood. But my question was, okay,
Mhm.
little different. So you have created e-commerce, right? With the same name, I can create it. That's more than that.
Yeah, you can create, because as I told you in the starting itself, this is not globally available name. Okay,
Okay, got
you
it.
logged into your subscription. So let us say you are from Air India, you will log in with Vijay@airindia.com, right? So inside that you are creating e-commerce, and I log in with my Hotmail account. I can also create my e-commerce organization, because they are not global. They are specific to your company. They are, I mean, it is not available to other people.
Okay, got it, got it.
It is similar to any other concept. So you will have your finance department. I have my finance department. Some other will have their finance department, right? So, and you take a websites. Everything is e-commerce, but they are identified by their domain name, right? Amazon.in or Geo.in, etc. They are categorized by their domain names. But of course, everything is running from the internet.
Got it, got it. Thank you.
Yeah. You also call it as a, I mean, in the networking concept, you also call it as a fully qualified domain name, FQDN. Okay, everything starts from the parent. So you have e-commerce, but generally, I mean, I'm just this is not related to Azure DevOps. I'm saying e-commerce. How this works? What is its parent? It's organization. So e-commerce project, you have it, and its parent is e-commerce Pune, and its parent is my email ID. Okay, it will be like this: hasura86.ecommercepune.ecommerce. And if you are having your e-commerce, how it looks like? Your Air India account name dot your organization dot e-commerce. Both are different, right? Now, if you look at in a comprehensive way, end to end.
Yes.
So those are all taken care by the platforms. We don't need to worry about it. It's all about our subscription. Once you are in subscription, once you are logged in with your subscription, that's it. You are isolated from any other person. Any doubt, guys? So this is a fundamentals about a cloud. I mean, with this, you know what is cloud and how you come to the Azure DevOps. Okay, and we will be using many of the features what I spoke about in the cloud fundamentals while we are moving on.
We have several roles, right? As we discussed, cloud administrator, okay, Azure cloud developer.
Right.
So in our course, we are targeting all these roles, or specifically anything related to. Mainly, we are
So
focusing on any
yeah,
specific role.
yeah. This course is for the Azure DevOps engineer, Azure DevOps, right? So your role is a Azure DevOps engineer here. Okay, but of
So
course.
this course is targeting to Azure DevOps engineer, main focus.
Exactly. Exactly. So I just want to clear the roles confusion. That's the reason I kept this slide. Okay. Azure
That's
DevOps
correct.
engineer. Yeah. And once, let us say there are people with 10 plus years, 12 plus years of experience, right? Okay. You basically become a DevOps architect. See, when I say architect, right, it's not only DevOps, even for programming languages like application development or product development or cloud development, right? When I say architect, I'm basically having experience or exposure across all the areas. Then only I will become an architect. Okay. So when I say Azure Dev, I mean, let us say I'm a DevOps architect. What it does mean? I have an expert experience in one of the cloud, I mean, DevOps tools. Let us say I'm an expert in Azure DevOps platform for doing the DevOps implementation. But I also know other DevOps tools like a Jenkins or Bamboo or some other tools. But I may not be an expert. But what I know how they work. I know how to configure. I know how to make them available to the people, etc. I can do the architecture and design even for any tool for that sake. That's the reason I may say DevOps architect or enterprise DevOps architect, whatever it is. So but I'm an enterprise architect who takes care of all of the areas, be it a cloud or databases or DevOps or anything. So this all comes with experience and the variety of work that you do. in your companies as part of your career. Okay, so you have to progress, right, with your experience. That's where you can make money as well. So this course is for Azure DevOps Engineer, and we cover all the Azure DevOps related stuff. But while you are learning, you also learn a lot about Azure Cloud Administration as well, because as part of my course, I have to deploy the code to some machines. That means I have to create the machines. I am creating the virtual machine, means I am also creating the virtual network. I am also creating the storage. I am also creating some firewall entries. That means you're also learning administration as well at some level. Okay.
Okay.
Let us say I also create a AKS, Azure Kubernetes Service, for the Docker and Kubernetes fundamentals. Basically, if it is an organization who will create it, the cloud administrator will create and give it to you. But since you are learning, I have to show that one. That's why I create a AKS and related components in front of you. That means you will also be you will also be playing a role of a cloud administrator as well. The only thing that you don't do is you will not give access to some other person, because you are running your subscription with your own credit card, right? But you will also see permissions, etc. I mean, how you will give access to some other person for the resource what you created in the Azure cloud, which comes under Azure Cloud Administration.
Okay.
So basically, you learn across these areas. I mean, your specific area is Azure DevOps Engineer, which is Azure DevOps platform. But you will also be having hands on these areas as well as part of our course, because everything is related. I mean, these are not isolated. Your Azure DevOps, as an Azure DevOps engineer, you are deploying the code developed by the Azure Cloud developer or the developer, and into the virtual machines or app services, which are created by the Azure Cloud Administrator. So everything is interlinked.
Okay. And another doubt is, okay, when we create account, it will be accessible for 30 days, right? For creating any kind of development work.
Yeah, if when you are using your free trial, okay, for 30 days, you will be able to do the complete administration activities. Okay, but of course, you need to wisely use that. If you, let us say, you create a virtual machine, you use that till you are practicing. Let us say you may practice for 1 hour or 2 hours, right? After that, you have to delete it. Otherwise, it will keep on running. Your free credit will be expired.
Okay. So my question is, if I'm planning for searching a job after 1 month, after 2 months, after completion of the course, still I want to practice. Okay, so then I have to go with creating of another account. Am I right? Or
Exactly. No, you have to create another account. Otherwise, what happens? Whatever is the credit card that you use for that account, right, will be charged billing.
Okay.
Okay. You don't need to go through that process. You create another account with another credit card. That will help you for learning.
Okay. Thank you.
So my courses goes more than 1 month. That's the reason I use my credit card for all these labs, and I know how to use it effectively. I don't spend thousands and thousands of rupees for the labs. I'll use it. Let us say I start a virtual machine at 7 o'clock during the start of my session. If I'm closing my session at 8 o'clock, once I finish the lab or explanation, I immediately delete my virtual machine, so that I'm paying only for 1 hour of usage of the virtual machine, which may comes to 14 rupees or 15 rupees. Okay, not more than per hour. So you will learn those things while I am showing it to you as well.
Purna, question Purna. I mean,
Yes.
is it same for dev.azure.com? I mean, we can open a session at our own interest.
See, dev.azure.com is a sub URL of your portal.azure.com. So that means if you want to do Azure DevOps, you can directly log in to dev.azure.com, or you can log into portal.azure.com, and you can come to dev.azure.com only again. But the subscription, whatever you are using for Azure DevOps, right, it is basically the subscription of your Azure cloud. So when you sign up for Azure DevOps, that means you are ultimately signing up for the Azure cloud itself, but you are only using Azure DevOps platform. The good thing here is whatever you use in the Azure DevOps, right, like boards or repos, etc., they will not be charged. Okay, you can use it up to 90 days without any charge. But if you are using any virtual machines or networking, etc., in portal.azure.com, that will be charged. So Azure DevOps comes with 90 days. But the cloud resources like creating virtual machines, etc., only for 30 days. There is a small difference.
Got it, Purna.
Any other questions? Yes, please. If you want to continue, I already have your email IDs. I don't think one of you, Venkat or someone, I don't have it. Please drop your mobile number or email ID. So I'll share the. I will email you my bank account details and GPay account. Whatever is the one you want to use, you can use it for payment. Okay, and you can talk to me. I already talked to you. If you want to again talk to me, you can talk to me over phone as well. Okay. So because I will be changing the link again for tomorrow as well, because I will have different people also join. This is the first day. That's the reason some other people did not join. Okay. Please share your mobile number. I think Venkata, I'm not sure if you have your mobile number or email, or the Vijay also. If you already gave it to me, that's fine.
Purna, this is Venkata. So you already have my email ID, and I will
What
share
is
my
that?
mobile.
Yeah, sure.
Kalyanjintan@gmail.com.
Oh, Kalyan. Okay. Yeah. Please share your mobile number. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, guys. I will share the link with only you for tomorrow. Please check your email box. Today again, probably by end of day or something. And you can call me on WhatsApp and on my mobile number, which I give it to you, so that if you have any doubts on the payment, you can get clarified. Thank you.